So we had a request in the Discord channel to do a bit of a check into shopping SPI. So I just thought I'd share some techniques that I use when looking into new coins, and particularly whether they're a worthwhile investment. So we start off with CoinMarketCap. CoinGecko's perfectly fine, but I find that the CoinMarketCap data seems to be more relevant and up to date. First thing to check, how many people are looking at this coin, and you can see on that with the watch lists. 34,000 is quite a high figure, particularly for a coin that is ranking well outside of the top 100. We currently sat at around $40 per SPI, and the SPI is on the Ethereum blockchain. A little tip, if you're going to add any custom contract details, try and either pick it up from the DApp itself or pick it up from a trusted source like CoinMarketCap, because that contract address will have been verified. You can also gain access to the website and, more importantly, stuff like the white paper, which we'll move on to next. We'll quickly drop down into sort of the historical pricing. You can see around April the 1st we were well up at $274, which was a meteoric rise if you got in early in January, so well played if anybody got in and got out at that point. More interestingly though, if you come to the May, which was the sort of cycle top for this one, it was much lower, almost sort of a 40% reduction from that top, and it's interesting that this coin didn't peak at the same time as the rest of the market. If we have a quick look into the token side of things, click show more down here, you can see that the total supply is 1 million SPI and 933,000 of those are in circulation. That's nice and healthy. There's a fixed supply, it's all in circulation. That's nice and clean from a tokenomics point of view. One area that not many do click on, if you just go into holders and wallets, what you can see here that there are 15,000 addresses, but you've only got 259 that were active in the last 24 hours, which is really very low. That usually indicates that it's something that's been heavily staked or it's just not being heavily traded. If you look at the top 10 holders, you've got 60% of the coin ownership within the top 10 holders. But more importantly, if you go down on this contract address here, you can see that 36% of the supply is held there, which is quite a dominant holding considering everything else underneath it. If we go back to the overview, what you can see for a coin of this size with a £40 million fully diluted $40 million fully diluted market cap, you can see that it's only got a trading volume of 1.2 million, which is again quite low and says something about those number of active addresses. So if we quickly, using the white paper link, jump into this section, always worthwhile reading the white papers, light papers, various stages of a development. You can see what they are. If we quickly drop onto this one, you can see that on shopping.io, even though this is a shopping e-commerce platform, the coin itself isn't the token that's used for purchases, it's the utility token. So the aim of the platform seems to be allow you to spend other cryptocurrency as part of the shopping experience, and they've sort of brought on quite a few number of different currencies at that time. Move just quickly onto this page. By using the front end, you don't need to create an account on the other e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and eBay, although I'd like to think many people would already have Amazon and eBay accounts, and jumping straight into spending crypto isn't going to be people's first foray into the e-commerce crypto world. Quickly on this section is the consumer protections in terms of dispute resolution and delayed shipments. When you actually dig into this a bit further, it's very US based, US delivery based. Obviously this sort of starting in one territory, but in terms of sort of investing in this and using the SPI token to unlock the discount benefits and the free shipping benefits, for those who are outside of the US, it holds much lesser value, although they do imply that they're going to expand those territories. I'd also like to think in using something like an Amazon or an eBay, you're already in a marketplace environment where you are dealing with smaller traders through that marketplace environment, eBay and Amazon have reasonably good consumer protection measures. It's not entirely clear where that lies with Shopping.io. It sounds like the dispute resolution is with them themselves, which personally I'd probably rather have my protection with Amazon itself. This we'll get onto later, but it's just worth holding out now, is the incentivized reviews. No fake reviews are allowed, however, you can complete a certain number on the platform. We'll get back to that in a little bit because there's something else I'll show a bit further down. In terms of how this platform's going to make its money, there's an A, B and a C there, very clear. Voucher codes, shopping plans and coupons. For those that are aware, stuff like Groupon or Voucher or whatever's available in your territories. Advertisements across the platform. A well-known advertising sort of platforms out there. It looks like they're going to try and self-monetize advertisements. Not quite sure that's quite there yet. And then a certain percentage of the total order amount, which looks like they're going to basically skim off transactional activity. They advertise this is where the revenue generation is coming from. There isn't a great deal more in this paper as to how they're going to make those three work, which, if that's how they're looking at generating revenue, you'd think there'd be a bit more on that front. Quickly back to the tokenomics. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. The full 1 million finite circulating supply is pretty much out there. The Uniswap fee goes back to the stakeholders on a weekly basis. That sounds impressive. However, if you recall the relatively low trading volume, that means there isn't a great deal going back to the holders, and there's something in the tokenomics for the staking which we'll get to later, which it's going to take a long time to sort of recoup that initial investment. This has been changed ever so slightly in terms of what the free, the starter and the pro pack looks like. I'm sure when the coin was down at $1 or $2, this didn't seem that unreasonable, but at $40, you've got a $40,000 sort of starter pack there to get a 5% discount and free shipping, which I think that level of entry is now reasonably high. So on the website they have adapted that somewhat. If we quickly go down to the roadmap, you can see that in April, which is when this current roadmap ends, and in the Telegram group it does go as far as August, you can see that they were looking at the mobile app and the AliExpress. Both of those still aren't online now when we're in sort of August, so there's a few questions. Although the March one, in terms of adding 100 more coins, they've certainly been on with adding those. I always like to try and check out who's involved. Are they visible? Is it clear who's behind the project? You do get some projects where it's not very transparent at all. Abel Arif, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly, when you sort of come to check this guy out, he does have some retail background. It's not as deep as you'd like it to be. You know, drop shipping via 8 stores and eBay, going from a drop shipper to launching a global e-commerce platform's a bit of a leap, but there is, I suppose, a link there. And the man behind the development has very little on LinkedIn, no real depth to that, and not unusual really for the tech guys. It's normally the chief financial officer and the chief exec that are most visible. Coin to buy, don't rely heavily on this website, but it's worth just pointing out a few things on this one. The shopping potential price down here at $247 seems to be heavily biased by its previous all-time high. Twitter citations, reasonably good. Social following, reasonably good. The market cap's high because all the coins are in circulation. Google Trends is quite low, so for something that's meant to be an e-commerce platform that's looking at making money through advertising revenues and the like, that is really quite low. And then there are a limited number of exchanges where you can purchase SPI, and there are sort of a couple of notable central exchanges which are missing, such as Binance and Coinbase. If we jump onto the actual website itself, it looks quite reasonable. They're looking at version 2. It's a work in progress. we'll get to that one. It's all about shopping experience. AliExpress coming soon, was on the April roadmap, now in August. But you've got in America Amazon, eBay and Walmart, which is a good chunk of that market. And the experience really is you search through those websites, you find the product detail that you want, you type it in here, and then you purchase the product using your cryptocurrency via this as a portal. The web app is okay. It's a bit one-dimensional. The mobile app just isn't there at the moment. They seem to have a number of partners here, but when you do a bit of digging into some of these partners, like VeChain, which I got quite excited by, when you look, there isn't really anything behind the scenes there. It's just you can use VeChain as a token to purchase, and the same with Shiba. So there's a couple of coins that have been referenced there where it doesn't really look like a partnership, more you can use that coin. There's also a second token, the GSPI, which is a governance token. That's not on the Ethereum blockchain, that's on the Binance chain. I can only assume they've done that for the sort of transaction fees and speed. But as you can see from the white paper, they have now changed that sort of membership profile. And the entry one, popular, and you can see why, is the 1 SPI, because 1,000 SPI at $40 each is quite high sort of barrier of entry. In terms of the central exchange integrations, you've got KuCoin, which a lot of people know, and you've got Gate.io. Bittrex, MXC, not as heavily used, and Uniswap and the PancakeSwap. Uniswap's on Ethereum for the SPI, and PancakeSwap's one of the main dexes on the Binance Smart Chain. Why become a token holder? Really, it's about the staking, but we'll get onto the staking. There's something in that. You've got the sort of the team down here, and you can obviously check into more of these people. The team has evolved, and new people have come on since that white paper. And then they've got the frequently asked questions. What if my order does not arrive? Contact a via chat and email. What sites can I shop on? Very basic, very limited answers. For an e-commerce, I'd like to see more about consumer protection if I was investing in this in a platform. This is the 2.0 version of the website. Looks a lot slicker, a bit more dynamic. You can see that it is an evolution from before. And as you start scrolling through the website, it does look a bit more like a shopping platform. The featured products at the moment just look entirely random. I'm not sure there's an algorithm working there as to what it should be showing you. On the foundation section, there's a little bit more about the product itself. It's basically like a web front end for the white paper, a bit on the about us, be it on how the ecosystem, and it is quite limited. It goes into the staking and the governance, covers the tokenomics. That's pretty much it. You can see in the corner though, they are quite active across Twitter, Instagram, so they are going for that sort of social viral marketing campaign. And this is the key one for me now, which is the staking platform. Normally when you stake into any kind of pool, there is either an entry fee or an exit fee. Sometimes there's both. They can be as little as 0.1%. Sometimes they're as high as 1%, 2%. Very rarely are they as high as 10. Now, when you come to stake, you lose 10% of your initial investment, and upon exiting, you lose 10% of your initial investment. The way I read this, if you was to purchase 100 SPI at $40 each, on entering the stake club, you would lose 10%. You'd be down at sort of 90 tokens, and then on exit after that, you would lose another 9 tokens. So if you was to enter and exit in short position, you could be down sort of 19 tokens straight away, which at $40 a pop adds up pretty fast. And when you look at the low volume and the way that the fees are being returned to the users, it could take a considerable amount of time to recoup that initial investment. So as you can see, there's a disclaimer in here to sort of highlight that, and long-term holding is highly recommended. It's not highly recommended, you would have to do it to recoup that initial investment. If you go to Telegram and see what they've been up to, go to the pin page, which is where most admins will put stuff in. You can see the August roadmap, Binance Pay marketing, Coinbase commerce marketing. You can see they're targeting those extra 2 exchanges. That could be quite bullish in terms of price action. You can see in terms of further development, they've got Amazon Australia and Amazon India, so they're expanding into new territories. You can also see that they are waiting for some legal elements, which, being 8 months in, you could give some consumers confidence, could spook some that that's not already covered. Still under development. There's a lot in here. Shopping concierge, the domains, the auctions, they're going after quite a lot there, and then they call it the Binance secret feature. And when you go through the Telegram, all anybody is asking is when Binance. And I think people are looking at, because they've been calling it the Binance secret, they were hoping for a Binance listing and that would cause positive price action. It now in brackets says not listing. It looks like there's going to be something else in terms of some kind of pay structure. The big one for me is the mobile app. You can scroll through this, there's a new white paper that's currently in development. You can see what they're coordinating, on a number of different fronts. It does look active, it does look like it's under development. They probably launched this product before it was really close to complete, but it's out there now. And if you go onto Twitter, you can see recently, August the 8th, you'll recognise some of these faces on quite a little viral video that plays. You've got people like Journey Crypto in there, who we do know does shield there is tokens and does, we believe, take commissions on stuff. There are other key sort of influencers in the crypto space. It's quite a snappy little viral video, it's quite short, clearly aimed at the sort of Twitter and Instagram market. What it doesn't actually do though is show you what that shopping experience is like. It just tells you that you can spend your crypto. Now, for an e-commerce platform, I don't normally do this with a coin, but I've gone on to Trustpilot because everybody loves to leave a review. Most people like to leave reviews when they've had a bad experience. And what was interesting is when you go through it, brilliant shopping experience, did it twice, I like the platform, what a great platform, everyone's just raving about it. But then when you just look a little deeper, 1 review, 4 reviews, 1 review, 1 review, 2 reviews, and they basically start around March and they run up to sort of June. I think there's 1 in July, and then after that there's nothing. So that looks like it was a targeted review campaign, and for an international US-based e-commerce platform with eBay and Amazon, they've got 55 reviews, which seems woefully low and woefully, like overly positive. So that does concern me a little bit. Now, in terms of key threats to them, and in terms of what that might look like, you've got direct competitors such as CryptoCart, who are basically offering something very similar. They use a lot more crypto-based language in terms of, no KYC, stuff like that, so stuff people in the crypto space will get. They've gone down a bit of a gift card route, which is a little bit different. Under the hood, very, very, very similar. Theirs is more API based to allow you to spend the crypto, as opposed to Shopping.io, which is more of a front end platform access. For me though, the larger threats to a scheme like this is you're effectively going through their website, entering effectively a barcode in here to purchase. With the way that PayPal, Apple Pay and Google Pay are developing, with what MasterCard and Visa are doing in the space, eventually these other platforms, your Amazons, they're going to have their own built-in feature for this. So even though I think this is quite niche at the moment, I don't think it will remain niche long term. In terms of an investment, there's enough here around the Trustpilot, some of the lack of development on the roadmap, the staking looks awful. Personally, I don't think in terms of an investment, I'd be ready to invest in this one yet. In terms of price action though, because it's e-commerce, because they've got a snappy website, because they've gone for a social sort of viral type marketing campaign, and because of the previous all-time highs, should this move, this could move very quickly, and people, without understanding what's at the core of the platform, could look to invest, and you could see some pretty sharp rises in price action. As you can see here, it just went parabolic very, very quickly, but it also crashed just as hard. So I think this might be something where there is some volatility. That volatility could also be driven by the lack of trade volume as well. So just something to watch out for on there is it's low volume. It's potentially got some upward movement in terms of price action. Could it develop? Could it grow? Absolutely. Does there seem to be a team behind it working on it? Yes, there does. Could I see Apple Pay and Google Pay just taking this spot in the space? Yes. So as an investment, possibly not. As a quick in and out to try and capture one of these parabolic rises in price action, if you were going to try and make money out of shopping, I'd probably looking at that more than this as an investment at the moment. However, there's probably more research to be done. Probably looking other corners of the crypto sort of world to try and find what else is going on under the hood. I'm gonna sort of add it to my watch list and maybe check in on it periodically, see what develops. It might be one for the future, but this isn't personally one for me right now. However, I would watch that price action because previously it has gone parabolic very quickly.